Yeah, yeah. He said
the veggie stock to make a nice, simple, hearty veggie cabbage stock soup. It's very tongue twisting. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Cooking with Marcia. My name is Marcia and in my kitchen today we are going to make a stuffed cabbage vegetable soup. We are going to make a broth using veggies obviously, and then we are going to stuff our cabbage leaves and then submerge that into the veggie stock to make a nice, simple, hearty veggie cabbage stock soup. It's very tongue twisting. Okay, so that's the plan for this episode. So you know how when you go to when you are in your kitchen and you're preparing a meal with lots of vegetables, how you would remove the outer skin, the outer leaves from a cabbage, when you peel off your onions and your carrots and the stems of your mushrooms, etc. You remove some of those stuff before you prepare your vegetables. Well, we're turning all of that discarded vegetables, right? All of the stems and so on. We are transforming that or using that to make a veggie stock, which will be the base for my veggie broth. And then what I'll do after is to show you how we can stuff some cabbage with different items in there, different vegetables and stuff, and then submerge that into your veggie stock once it's ready, once it's completed. So that is the plan for today. But before we start, let's give all praises and thanks to the Most High Lord our God. Thank you for allowing us to communicate today and for me to present to you this video. Thank you guys. So what are we going to do? We are going to start off by showing you all my scraps that I had piled up and left over that I'm going to use, and I'm suggesting that you do the same. So when you disregard some of the outer leaves of your vegetables and stuff, and the stems, even the stems of say the herbs, the parsley, the basil and so on, don't throw them out. Put them into a container, put them into the refrigerator or even in the freezer. And when you think you accumulate enough to make a broth, put it into your water, put it on the stovetop and make your broth. So let me show you now how we're going to make this broth and what we're going to use to make this broth, okay? Okay, so let's find out what made it the leftover bin for me to now use for my veggie stock. So I'm starting off with my Napa cabbage. This is what we're going to stuff later on. So basically, I just removed some of I just basically removed some of the leaves from the outer part of the Napa cabbage, So I've got that going on. Then I have some carrots that I had shredded, put away. These are the stems of the broccoli. I was in a supermarket earlier and a gentleman was buying broccoli and he popped the stem off to throw away. And he said, oh, when I buy broccoli, I just pop the stem off, because I don't need it. I don't want to pay for that. So I don't need it. So I'm just going to put it back. I'm like, no. Give it to me. And he was like, but why? He said, because I use it when I'm making veggie stock. And he said to me, oh, that's fantastic. I will let my wife know. So information passed on to his wife. And then these are the stems of the asparagus. Love me some asparagus. And then these are some of the leaves out from the cauliflower. You know, the green section of the cauliflower. These are the leaves from the cauliflower. These are the tops of my carrots. Then I have the end of some onions. We've got some garlic. And the stems of the mushrooms. So, you know, you got your mushrooms and you just basically pop the stem out. So that's what I'll be adding as well to this veggie stock. And then to that, I have a lot of spices here. Celtic sea salt, some crushed black pepper, pink peppercorn, some dried oregano, and some curry leaves. And then I have a little bit of turmeric, and I'll be adding to that some fenugreek, some curry powder, and a little bit of ground cinnamon. So the whole idea, oh, and some chili pepper, a nice fat chili pepper. So the whole idea of this is to infuse as much flavor as you can into your veggie broth. That's going to be the base for the soup. So you want it to be punched with flavor. So that's why I have all of these, seasoning to add to the vegetables to give it a really nice flavor. I'm going to put all of that into my my pot with some water and just leave it there to simmer away. It takes maybe about anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. So while that is happening, you can then start preparing your stuffed cabbage, or you could go about your business and do something else. If it's all you're making is just to stop, you can go about your business and do other things. And once the stock is ready, you taste it, it's get to the flavor that you like, take it off the fire, cool it down, put it away in the refrigerator, put it away in the freezer for other use later. But today we'll be using it today. Okay, so I am just gonna prepare my pot and start washing all of these leftover stems and stuff and put them right into the pot to simmer away. Okay, my broth is now done. So all I'm gonna do is to put it into my blender and just blend away until nice and smooth. Now, I usually, when I make broth, especially when I used to eat a lot of cooked food, I would make a broth, and the way it is right now, I would strain it off and just use that nice light liquid and put that away for when I'm cooking, to use that as my base instead of water. So I'm infusing flavor into whatever I'm developing. Or in this particular case, because I'll be using it as a soup base, I therefore am going to blend it out to give it some body for this soup. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll put in all the bits that were in there in the soup, in the broth, all the bits that were in the broth, all the scraps from the vegetables and so on that's now cooked out. I'm going to put all of that in the blender, blend it all out to get me a nice thick base for this soup. Okay, so now I'm ready to make the filling for my cabbage, for my stuffed cabbage. I've got all my ingredients out. I have some, and everything is diced up or sliced up very thinly, so it's easy to incorporate together, so it can have a nice tight wrap. So I'm gonna start off with some cauliflower. So shredded cauliflower. Added to that, my broccoli. And I'm using only half of the mixture because I'm also going to do a raw component as well. Some spinach, about 2 handfuls of those. Peas, that's the peas right there. The asparagus stems. And the mushrooms, shredded mushrooms, using all of that for this one because this is going to be cooked. And the person I'm making this for, they asked for sweet corn. They like sweet corn. I got some organic ones, but you know, and some onions. And what I'm going to do is incorporate that all together. I'm going to add some salt. And some black pepper. Some dill. Some basil. And parsley. And some parsley. And then just check for the seasoning. See if the seasoning is on point in terms of what you like. And just adjust as you go. And the last thing I'm going to add in there is some cooked potato, and all I'm doing is using that just to help to bind everything together. Nope, I'm not using eggs. Don't need to do any of that. Just get in there, use a nice clean hand, and just combine everything together like so. Now I have my Napa cabbage leaves washed, ready to go. And all I'm going to do is just to put a scoop of this in there. Not too much, properly. And then just gently okay. And then a scoop of this. And just tuck, roll and tuck. Okay, so the stuffed cabbage is done, and I am basically going to plate up just one small bowl to just show you what it looks like. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your stuffed cabbage soup. Stuffed cabbage soup. So the tricky part of it, obviously, is to stuff the cabbage. Okay, so they're a bit finicky, but you keep playing around with them, you'll get them. What I did was I have a lot of spring onions outside, and they are huge. This is the green section of the spring onions, and I literally cut them in strips and then use them to tie up my stuffed cabbage. So that's kind of how I ended up getting them in the end. Just kind of tie them up. I have a garlic plant, and the stem of the garlic is what I'm using as my garnish for my soup. So that's your stuffed cabbage soup. And smells delicious. I tasted it, yes. And tastes really, really good. So we're now on to the raw version of this dish. So it's basically, it's all the same ingredients that I used for the stuffed cabbage that went into the soup. I'm using the same exact ingredients. Only thing I'm going to add to that is some red cabbage, because I love me some red cabbage. And unfortunately, I forgot to put carrots in the first one. So all the carrots will be going into this second version. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just start adding those same ingredients that I used for the stuffed cabbage, cooked stuffed cabbage, same thing I'm using here. So I've got me some the cauliflower, broccoli, my spinach, carrots that I missed from the last one, so that's going in. These are the snap peas. These are my asparagus tips. And then some red cabbage. And then just, use your nice clean hands and just combine everybody together. Then I'm just going to add some lemon juice, using my hands to catch all the seeds, just like I did before. Couple pinches of my Celtic sea salt. So just 1 and 2. My crushed black pepper. I'm going to start adding now some of my herbs. So I'm just going to work these with my hands. Let's do this toss one more time now. Quick taste and see where we are season wise. And the seasoning is on point. So here you could leave it as is, serve as a salad, and put your own dressing on it. I made a dressing already, and now I'm going to show you how I envision serving this. So this is the same Napa cabbage that we used earlier for the stuffed cabbage soup, and all I'm going to do is just serve it just like so. Put all my ingredients in here. And then I'm going to put my sauce in it. And this is the sauce that we made earlier using the coconut amino, the spicy chili pepper, and some ginger, garlic, lemon juice, salt and pepper. That's the dressing here. And just kind of pour whatever you like on that. And then just serve that up as a dish. And then the person can basically scoop up as much as they want and choose to, if they want to wrap it, like how we wrapped for the cook, they can do so. If not, they just use this as a vessel to eat. And just put it in your mouth and have a go. And that concludes today's episode. So the purpose of making this episode, because I am aware, sometimes I'm in the same position, where in a household, you'll have someone who is on the raw path, whether it's permanent or it's temporary for a moment, a 40-day challenge or something like that, whereby the other members of the household are still cooking their food. So, we're just trying to make sure that we can appease each other until we all transition over into what the household deemed it to be, whether it's cooked or whether it's raw. So what I'm trying to show you is when you have situations like that, is to think about how to use those same ingredients, one a cooked preparation and one as a raw preparation. It just makes your life so much easier. So all of the ingredients that I use to make the stuffing for the cabbage for the soup are all the same ingredients that I use to make this raw salad. So you don't have to cut up things twice. It's the same. All the ingredients exactly the same. The only thing you're doing in addition to making the soup is to make a quick dressing. That's it. And usually sometimes I don't even make a dressing. I just pour lemon juice, salt and pepper, and I'm good to go. But hey, why not do something a little bit different? So that was the purpose of making that quick dressing for this dish. So there you have it. You can still function in a household where some are cooking food and some are on the raw. We just have to kind of think about how to do it so it's easier for the person who is preparing the meals. Okay? So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being in this space. Thank you for watching once again. And I do hope you enjoyed this episode and that you will give this a try and drop me a note. Let me know what you think, or let me know what other things you'd like me to do or to prepare on my channel. So thank you so much for watching. And of course, as usual, give all praises and thanks to the Most High Lord, my God. Thank you. Thank you for being in this space, and see you on the next episode.
So much, I praise